Do you think that sort of being able to overcome those challenges that you did when emigrating to the country in some way sort of primed you and gave you this entrepreneurial spirit that you have used to then create?
Yeah, absolutely. I think immigrants have this rather common story. Like, my story is not unique. There are many of stories like mine. See, I came to the country with this, lack of understanding of how the country works, the language works. I mean, I genuinely thought I'll be okay with the language thing, but when I came here and everyone started speaking, I had no idea what was going on. At a university level, it was just way over my head. It was very difficult. And the practical reality is I was on survival mode. Because $500 was barely enough for anything. From university fees are paid, but I had to pay for my, just everything else. I had to look after myself, and after the first semester, I had to pay for my entire university fees. So that meant from the moment I land, I wasn't like, okay, I know I have a limited time before the money runs out, get a job and go. So it forces you to figure out on the go what to do. I've made a ton of mistakes, but the thing about immigrants is I literally got a one-way ticket. So there is no way I'm not going back. And I can't afford to. I can't face my people if I went back. So I had to make it work. Now, my story is it took me a very long time truly to achieve sort of from a financial perspective of some success and my projects to really take off. It took me 14 years, really. 2014 was when really things started making sense, and finally after all these years. So that immigrant story of there is no turning back. Once you've taken the plunge, you just see it through, which means it forces you to stick to it, which a lot of people do. Is you start something, if it's too hard, people tend to be like, this is way too hard, and then you give up. It's a natural way of, you don't really need to really push way beyond the edge. You don't need to, because there are fallbacks. But from where I come from, and with the opportunities that were given to me here, it wasn't like that. Comfort zone was just, I went beyond my comfort zone. Like the first 3-4 years of Australia, to date, it's the hardest of my entire life, the things I had to go through. Some of them I haven't even told my parents. I didn't want them to know because they would have been devastated. The practical reality of trying to make it work over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what sort of that's why I don't sort of once I set my mind to something, I am sort of single focused and I want to get that done.
To see the full interview, simply go to Google and type in "full interview." No, that won't work. There'll be a link somewhere.